able to do this and stuff. But my brother had an emergency, so but
Oh, good. We here now.
yeah, we here now. So well, today, everyone, we got a very special guest with us. So if you didn't know Tiny Adams, I'm starting right now. So welcome to the Full Court Dreams, the Underdawgs Voice. I'm your host, Coach Q, and today we have a very special guest, Tiny Adams. Um, a name synonymous with resilience, excellence, and inspiration. From the courts of Brooklyn to the global stage of professional basketball and beyond, into the realm of coaching, business, lectures, Tiny has made her mark everywhere she's been. Tiny, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we were just talking. This has been a little journey, so we had to cancel a couple of times because of schedules and stuff like that. So thank you for being on here. I really admire the things that you're doing, in Baltimore. I just really wanted you to know that.
I
Ever since
appreciate that.
last year yeah, ever since last year when you invited us to down a dome for your was it benefit basketball game
It was just a little
down the dome
tournament.
last year.
We
Oh
did a
yeah, a
little
little
tournament
tournament. We
just
was
to
the
get
only
exposure.
yeah. So we was the only girls team down there. So I really appreciate that. And then you working with uh Senator McCray.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's how we connected. Yeah, he's a really good guy. So your story is nothing short of inspirational, right? You achieved incredible heights in basketball with records that stand, and your jersey that hangs in the honors of Morgan State University. So let's start from the beginning, right? So, what was it like growing up in Brooklyn, and how did your environment shape your passion for basketball?
So I mean, Brooklyn and New York as a whole is just a fast-paced area. There's always something going on, but once I got involved with basketball around the age of 7, that was kind of everything I focused on. So most of my days were filled with going to the park, playing basketball games, being around my friends, and just really working on my game. As I grew up, I decided that this was something that I really wanted to do and make something of myself. So early on, I knew I wanted to play. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to play professionally. So my childhood was kind of based off of that goal. So everything I did was to, make that happen. So, I did good at school, stayed out of trouble, and just really stayed on the court.
Okay, great. That's great for all these young kids to hear how important that staying in school, even though you're playing basketball, you're trying to reach a certain goal. How important education is. And from your work, I really, I really believe that that's one of your sticklers and the thing that you stick to a lot because you do a lot of stuff. You do a lot of educational stuff for the young and hold
For
all
sure.
these
For
events.
sure. I mean, I think it's important because, as you play basketball, basketball teaches you life lessons, basketball gives you opportunities. So you want to be able to be knowledgeable enough to take advantage of those opportunities. So staying in school, doing good in school, that can all lead to, even more options for you as you continue throughout your career. And then if by chance, maybe you don't have the talent, you have the life lessons to where you can still apply the knowledge that you learned while staying in school and doing the right things.
Yeah, and from your resume, it seems like you have done that from your illustrious career overseas, and then you made a significant impact as one of the few females to coach men's Division 1 basketball.
Hmm.
Can you share what drives you to be push the boundaries consistently, and not only within sports but in your entrepreneurial ventures as well?
So I always try to do things that haven't been done. I'm a big dreamer, so when I decided to retire, I got involved with Poly boys basketball, and working them out. And at the time, there were no females coaching at the men's college Division 1 level, so I decided to make that one of my goals to kind of make that happen. Even when I was at Morgan, looking at the record books. I made my goals to the point where I knew that I can break those records and be one of the best players to come out of there. So for me, I'm just really goal driven, and I like to do things that haven't been done just to kind of test myself to see if I can achieve it and make those things happen. So I'm very self motivated. But I also know that as I do these things, I can inspire somebody else to want to do the same thing. So, a lot of times when I was going up to be a men's coach, a lot of my friends started coaching men. As I started to play at Morgan and break records and go to HBCU, some of my friends started to go to HBCU. So, when I set out to do things, it's not just to benefit me, but it's also to show others that, it's possible.
Speaking of a couple of things, first HBCUs. Um, a lot of my girls that I coach want to go to HBCUs. Um,
Mhm.
can you tell me why you chose HBCU over any other college that try to recruit you or anything like that?
So to be honest, I didn't know anything about the process. I didn't know anything
Mm,
about HBCU till I got to Morgan. So I can't claim that, that
okay.
was something that I set out to do, but everything
Mhm.
happens for a reason. So, initially I didn't know about AAU. I was just playing in the tournaments and the leagues in New York. I played one summer of AAU and I actually verbally committed to Syracuse. And then maybe
Oh,
around like November when it was signing time, they had an opportunity to give a scholarship to an All American. So they took the scholarship from me, gave it to that All American, and the coach had a relationship with the Morgan coach, and they just kind of connected the dots for me. So they put me in contact with the Morgan coach. I came down here for a visit. I had family in Bowie, and that was kind of how I got to Morgan. So there was no like super decision making process. I did have a lot of other schools interested, like Canisius, LIU, but I didn't really know any better. I kind of just actually ended up really ignoring some of those coaches, not even knowing any better. So um, I kind of just got to Morgan by the relationships of the coaching staff with the Syracuse staff, and the rest was kind of history. So I didn't really know, but my roommate, she had a whole different story, as in she grew up in Virginia. Her family went to Virginia State. She would go to Norfolk homecomings. So they kind of, educated me on what the HBCU life was. And, as I, got through to my senior year, then I realized the significance of, the decision that I made. But I can't say it was a calculated decision, but, and it definitely worked out.
yeah, and them relationships are really important, man. Like, and I tell my girls that goes the recruiting process because a lot of my girls don't ain't know how to navigate the recruiting process. So me as a coach and coaching these young ladies, I had to learn how to go through the recruiting process. So
Hmm.
what I did was I joined sports recruits. So sports recruits really taught me
Hmm.
how to help my girls navigate through their recruiting process. So every girl that
Hmm.
I had coming through my program that followed the process actually got recruited to play college basketball. And the only thing they had to do was we
Nice.
recorded every game. So only thing they had to do was email coaches, and coaches be able to see all the games that we ever
Hmm.
recorded from the ninth grade year all the way up to so they could see their whole development. So when I told them, if you
Hmm.
email coaches, I email coaches, on your behalf. So that's how mostly all my girls each year out of if we had 10 to 12 players, 6 of them go play college basketball because they're the ones that really
Right.
went through the process. I ones that really didn't follow the
Right.
process ain't go to college. So understanding that process, I think, is a very important part. And I think
Yeah.
more coaches need to understand the process so they can help the girls in any place that they have be able to understand the process and realize that, like I tell my girls, don't fully depend on me to get you recruited. You have to be involved in your own recruiting process to get recruited,
Sure.
basically,
Parents
because
too.
right, because the landscape is now has really changed from back when you was playing. Like the
Hmm.
transfer portal now is like it's hard as a high school player to get to a D1 school now because of the transfer portal, unless you top
For sure.
100
For sure. Hmm.
ESPN player something like that. Because now it's transfer portal, JUCO. especially for girls, it's transfer portal, JUCO, then high school. And again,
Yep.
unless you
Yep.
at top 100. So like, so everything you're telling me is your story and everything is truly motivating. You know, what I'm saying you're a motivational speaker at certain events. You're not only an excellent professional, but you also started your own nonprofit, which is called Leader Breeders, right?
Mhm.
Incorporated,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
And you know you do got other businesses like with T89 Apparel.
Mhm.
You still have that also.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
what inspired you to start these initiatives, and how do you balance those along with your coaching responsibilities?
So the apparel company
So the power.
came by accident. I had wrote a book and I was promoting the book. So to promote the
Mm-hmm.
book, I wanted to shoot like little videos just to try to get people interested in it. Because back then, not a lot of my peers read. I mean, honestly, I didn't even read that much. So I was trying to get creative with marketing the book. So to shoot the videos, I got 3 shirts and a hoodie made with my logo on it. And whenever I would
Okay.
post these marketing videos, people would ask for the shirt as opposed to the book. So I'm like, yo, I'm not selling shirts, I'm selling books. But everybody like,
Right.
well, if you sell both of them, we'll buy them both. So that's kind of how the apparel company came about. And honestly, the support from everybody in the basketball community and just in New York, it forced me to create a business. And then I just kind of ran with it. So for me, that was something that, I didn't see coming. But, even to this date, people still are sending me pictures in my apparel. And it's good to know that, people want to represent me and, they support me and that, that logo kind of gives them motivation and inspiration. The nonprofit is something that for me, I've always wanted to help the youth in any capacity that I could. So as I
Mhm.
got older and realized there were things that I wanted to do, it just made sense to get the nonprofit started and work everything through there. Sometimes it's good to do things with my name on it, but I feel like I can get a larger reach as an organization, as just instead of just being Tiny Adams. Of course, everybody's going to know when they see Leader Breeders that it's a representation of me. But I wanted to
Mhm.
create that so that we were able to do things and also obtain grants and different support that you can't necessarily get as a typical business owner. Um, the vending machine company was just something that I wanted to try. So I have
Mhm.
about 2 vending machines, just trying to really figure out that process. I'm from New York, so I'm kind of like the ultimate hustler, where I'm just trying multiple businesses. But to balance it is all about the time management and staying organized. So I have my calendars, I have my to do list. I'm staying on top of things. I'm making sure I communicate with whoever's going to be helping me. So it's a lot to juggle, but as long as you're staying organized and when deadlines are coming, what's going on. It's not that hard, but it is a lot to manage multiple businesses and entities, and still have a personal life as well. But I'm passionate about everything that I'm into, so that's kind of what keeps me going.
Yeah, so you think like for when you start playing college basketball, you got to have that time management thing down pat, right? So do
For
you
sure.
think playing college basketball really helps you with that? You know, with your time management as far as your businesses and stuff now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the student athlete schedule is crazy. Like you're literally doing something from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. sometimes. So, going through that process as a student athlete, it definitely taught me how to manage my time, how to prioritize, how to take care of myself. Making sure I'm eating and sleeping despite everything that needs to be done. So, it definitely gave me the tools to be able to operate and do multiple things, because as a student athlete you have to multitask. You have to be able to function at a high level in the classroom, out the classroom, on the court. If you have appearances you have to do. So I definitely do think that being a student athlete prepared me to be an entrepreneur and a CEO.
Yeah, and just like you, and we're gonna get to that part in a minute. But just like you, like I wrote a book, um, Full Court Dreams, JJ's journey through basketball and life of basketball. And it's basically about um all the girls that I recruited, and I put all of them into this one girl and her journey for basketball, and that led me to doing this podcast. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just how your book led you into the Pearl thing, you know,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
same thing happened with me. This that led me into. I'm like, it'd be a good idea for me to start a podcast and get everybody, especially the young females out here that's playing basketball, and so they can tell their stories and maybe to motivate, these other young players that's coming up. Um, Maybe to
Hmm.
motivate them, and somebody coming on and you hearing that story, you're like, you know what, I'm going through the same thing. So this is one of the reasons why I do this. And from reading your story, because I try to do my research on everybody that I bring on the show. So doing the research on you, and I'm remembering from last year, I said I really need to get her on the so she can talk about her story. So you have an amazing story, right? So it's amazing how you're able to manage everything. And now shifting gears a little bit to the little to your book right now. You penned an autobiography series called Tiny Setback, uh, Major Comeback. What's the core message you aim to deliver through your book, and what do you hope your readers take away from your story?
I think for me, the message was, even if you're not a student athlete, as long as you're able to persevere, then you can achieve whatever your goals are. I didn't have mentorship until later in my life, so I made a lot of mistakes that I had to learn from. But I didn't let those stop me from doing the things that I wanted to do. So the book is about all of the times I failed and all of the times that I was able to get back up and make things happen. So the book, for me, my hope is that whoever reads the book, whether they're an athlete or not, they can understand that, they can chase their dreams, they can dream big. Failure is inevitable, but it's not gonna, stop you if you have the right mindset. So it's really just trying to inspire people to chase their wildest dreams and know that, if I can get through some of the things that I experience, so can you.
Right. So all the things you're doing right now, again, like I said, is very inspiring. And it's inspiring to me also because I'm from Baltimore. Right now I live
Thank
in
you. Yeah.
Randallstown, so I do more stuff out in this area. But it's some
Mhm.
things that I want to do in Baltimore also. We'll talk about that. But um,
Mhm.
what type of advice can you give somebody that's coming up right now that's looking to get to the next level? Because I know right now you're still a assistant coach at Loyola. Are you still coaching there
No, I stepped
at
I stepped
Loyola?
away in April to do full time with Leader Breeders. So I'm not coaching at Loyola anymore, but I get my coaching fix
Okay.
in here and there through Leader Breeders.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's why they got the job online right now, huh? I was thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
applying for that.
yeah.
I was thinking about applying for that, but I'm more like I like coaching girls better than I like coaching boy guys. So
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I ain't trying to go. I ain't trying to go. But I seen some of your training videos that you be doing. You still be training the guys at the school, and the guys still
Yeah,
coming to
yeah. I
train.
still train some of them. If they ask me to get in the gym, I'm not gonna tell them no. But as far as coaching, I had to step away because I wanted to really pour into Leader Breeders. But to answer your question, I think if you're looking to get to the next level, whether it's middle school to high school to college, you got to go about it in a serious manner to where you're really dedicated, you're committed, and you're focusing on improving. You're not focusing on what it looks like and all of the glamour of it. Like, you really got to work because there's so many people trying to obtain scholarships and spots and things of that nature. So you really have to do things that's going to separate yourself. So figuring out what your weaknesses are, dedicating time to the gym and playing. I think a lot of times right now, this generation gets a lot of training, but they don't play enough.
Mm-hmm.
So they're used to the drill work, but they're not able to react. Like they're predetermined a lot of the stuff they do. So I would say, as much as you're training, you got to play twice as much and play with different people and ages and different genders, because you really just have to start to have a feel for the game. I mean, most coaches are looking
Right,
for
right.
people that have good feel, that know how to play the game. So I feel like right now there's a lack of basketball IQ because everybody's just working out with their trainer, so they don't know how to play the game because they haven't been in these situations. Like when I grew up,
Right,
all I did was play, so I know, like,
right.
I know everybody's gonna try to block my shot, so I may do a floater, I may do a double pump. I know if I cross
Mhm.
over and go by somebody, they're gonna try to hit it from the back. So I know if I go by somebody to cross over,
Ball
because
route.
these are the
Right.
things I experienced by playing. I'm not gonna get those
Mhm.
same kind of reps in a workout because the cones don't move. So
Don't
you're not
move.
going to be able
Right. The
to,
Phillies don't move.
simulate those. So, that's the basis of it. But I think, training is great. I have nothing against training, but you still have to play and bring your game to a certain level that, teams and coaches can feel like you'll bring something to the table and really impact winning. But also I
Yeah.
think,
So
like I said, you have to seek out mentors. Like, if you're in middle school, find somebody in high school and college, just so they can give you their experiences and they can tell you how to learn from their mistakes. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, there's a process to it, but it's not impossible.
right. So that's what I try to do with my program. Like this year, I have sixth through eighth graders playing with each other. So they playing up to eighth grade.
Hmm.
But my college girls and the girls that are going to college next year, they come in after them, after they get finished practicing. So
Hmm.
I tell them to come in early. So I got my middle school girls actually scrimmaging my college girls. Then my college girls will
Nice.
talk to them about, and things like that. Um, so I think that was real good. So then my training process, like I really cut out my training process, but I also changed it for when I'm training my college girls. So when I'm training, it's more game like. It's more like practice instead of training. So we they learning how to come off screens and dribble handoffs and get to the elbow, one
Hmm.
dribble pull ups and stuff. So it's more game like, and it'd be like 6-7. So everything is in threes, because when you playing
Hmm.
basketball, it's either threes,
Hmm.
3-man, 2-man game. Um,
Yeah.
Actions. So we're practicing those type of things. We do some skill work also, but these girls are pretty skilled. So I don't gotta spend a
Hmm.
lot of time on you
Hmm.
teaching you dribble moves and all that stuff. It's more game like. Everything is more
Yeah.
game like. So that's how my
Yeah.
training start. And I tell people, if I'm going to train you, I gotta have 3 other people there. I'm not just going to train you one unless I'm working on a specific skill with you. Like if you just want to work on your shooting,
Hmm.
and we breaking down your shooting form and stuff like that, then I can. But if we're getting in the gym, the way we're getting in the gym now is that no, we're doing actual basketball stuff, not just going through cones and stuff. No, you got to go 1-on-1 with somebody. You got to learn how to come off screens with somebody chasing you. You know what I mean? And we had 2 balls where we have one girl and we had a big come up inside the screen, or anybody come up inside the screen. They roll, we hit that. That girl popped to the elbow. We passed the ball to her. She take the shot from the elbow. So it's basically all basketball actions. So I think that's the way training should go, because, like you said,
Hmm.
that 1-on-one training and like I listened to Gilbert Arenas the other day, and he was talking. He was like, all this training stuff you're not even going to do in a basketball game. All this 5 dribble combos and you're in trick shots and all that. You're not going to do that in a basketball game. When did you ever see anybody do it in the basketball? You might do it one time. So why concentrate on something you're going to do one time? We need to concentrate on something that you're going to do multiple times in the game. So that's for my college girls now and my young girls now. That's how our practice and our training is. It's everything is game based. Everything is they still get their little individual training, especially for the young girls. I still work on ball handling and stuff like that. I probably spend like 5 or 10 minutes a day on ball, but after that, it's all right, pass, cut, screen, and then I help them have a decision box. So once you get in the paint, and you don't get the ball, you have a decision to make. you can either go to fill out a spot or you can go screen for someone. You know what I mean? So they're learning how to play the game of basketball. So I think exactly what you're saying is right. That it's too much individual play, and not enough of these kids just going out there playing and learn how to play the game. Because like you said, even though I'm a little bit older than you, like I think your generation probably was the last generation that did that. Like I used to go play with guys. I'm 14. I used to go play with guys 30 years old. My cousins used to come and get me.
Right,
He was
exactly.
older than me. Like, that's how I got
Right,
better.
exactly.
Like that's how I got
Yeah,
better.
at the
So
rec, at the
I'm
park,
trying.
yeah, at the rec, because you know how to play. And when you younger, like you want to stay on the court with them, because if you messing up the run, they're not gonna let you play. So you got to
Right,
play the
right.
right way. You can't be doing too much. You can't be turning it over, because if not, them old heads ain't gonna let you keep fucking up the run. They gonna be like, nah, we out.
And I think these kids don't realize that if you go to the basketball court, it's 25, 30 people out there. And if you're five lose, you
Right,
might not get back on the basketball court again. So
exactly.
I don't think
That was the thing.
right. And I don't think these kids know about that. Like, and I think that's where they lose their hunger at because we like, man, I want to get back on. I ain't losing this game. I want to get back. I want to stay on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think a lot of these kids know how that feel to be sitting out there when you lose the game at 1 o'clock. You sitting there at 7 o'clock still trying to wait to get back on the basketball court. You know, I don't think they
Yeah,
they realize that. Like that's where the grind is. Like,
adds
wait,
that grit to it.
right? And that's where the grind is. And we was cool with waiting our turn. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think kids these days ain't cool with waiting their turn. Oh, I ain't getting no playing time. I'm going somewhere else. Like, no, work hard and wait your turn. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, college
Yep.
basketball experience. So how was your college basketball experience? Though? I mean, I know you was a killer though. From what I read, and you know got your jersey hanging up in the Raptors and things like that, and you're breaking records.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah, it
how
was
was your
great.
basketball journey?
I enjoyed it. You know, coming in, I was pass first. I really was just trying to be a flashy guard, and my teammates weren't necessarily ready for the level that I played at. So my coach
Mm-hmm.
had to do some work on me to get me to understand that I had to take care of the ball and I had to lead. So coming in as a freshman, I got a lot of pressure, but I was able to help turn the program around and just really do some great things. So I was able to leave Morgan as the all time leader in points, steals, and assists for men and women. But it's like that started as soon as I got there. I had coaches that challenged me. My assistant coaches, they would show me the record books. They would, because everything we did that freshman year was historic. It was like, oh, Morgan won the first game of the year. Oh, Morgan won three in a row, because prior to that, the 3 years before I got there, they were like, winning less than 5 games a year. So when my class came in, we took them all the way to the championship, and we were able to finish 18-11. So that kind of just turned the whole program around, and then we continued to build.
Right.
So I had a great experience. I wish I would have knew a little bit more than I did. I would have
Mhm.
probably, did some things a little differently, just in the regard of leadership. Because I was hesitant early on to be a leader, because it's tough when you're coming into a new situation and the
Mhm.
coach is trying to give you the keys, but you got 7 seniors that's looking like what's going on. So
Come on.
I was really reluctant to lead vocally. I always led by example, but I would have been more of a vocal leader. I would have, really tried to pull my teammates along a little bit better than I did. But I did enjoy the experience. We did some great things. We made some history. So I enjoyed it for sure. It was great. And then, it kind of propelled me into my professional career. So, I loved everything about Morgan. And, it's a decision that I'm, thankful that I was able to make.
Mhm. So, my aspirations are to become a college coach one day. I don't care if I'm 70 years old. If I can just coach one game, I'm good. So your
Hmm.
AD up there now, me and her went to school together, Dana. So yeah, me and her went to school
Okay.
together. So when she got there, I sent her my resume, and I was just like, I
Hmm.
just want to go through the process. But she was like, I
Hmm.
don't. I don't tell my coaches who. I said, no, I don't want you to tell anybody who to hire. As an AD, I just want you to take a look at my resume and let me know what I
Mhm.
need to, And she was like, no, your resume is excellent. Just try to gear it. If you're trying to come up here, just gear it more into, coaching at Morgan. But she was like, no, you got an excellent resume. Um, but
Mhm.
I don't use that as for me getting, even though most people get their coaching jobs because of relationships, right? That's how a lot of stuff
Yep.
happen. Um,
For
in
sure.
sports, you get relationship, and I got a lot of relationships with a lot of coaches. And they ask me, "Why you not coaching college right now?" It ain't that. I want to win a state championship in high school before I coach college. Almost got to it this year,
I
but
respect.
hopefully we get there next year. Yeah. So hopefully we
What
get
high
there
school are
next
you
year.
at?
I'm at Newtown right now. So this is my second year at Newtown.
Okay.
Last year we was 18. We was 18-5 last year. I think we could have went undefeated, but I'm a disciplinary. So if you ain't doing right, you ain't
Mhm.
playing. So
Right.
and then toward the end of the year, we had a couple of our key players fell off the team, and
Mhm.
stuff. So that really kind of like hurt us going into the playoffs. But they still play tough, man.
Gotcha.
They still play tough. So we got a couple of girls that's going to college next year to play basketball. That they was like, if you
Okay.
didn't come up here, I don't think I'd be going because they ain't know how to go through
Right.
the
Right.
process. If you didn't. And they played on AAU teams, like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
these coaches got to do better at helping these girls go through the process because a lot of our girls
Yeah.
in
But I also
Baltimore
don't feel like they
and Baltimore
see
County
that.
are. Say that again.
I feel like some of the coaches don't know any better. It's like, I'm not sure how
Right.
they're getting these positions, but they don't have no prior knowledge, and then it's not like there's any training or any education for them. So they kind of just winging it, and it sucks because the girls are the ones that's getting the short end of the stick because you don't
Yep.
have the proper people to, get you to where you need to get to. So it's a tough situation, but hopefully they continue to run into people like you who actually care, dedicated, passionate, and just know how the process go. Like you said, you took time to sign up for that recruiting platform because you knew what your goal was, but not a lot of other coaches are trying to do that. Some of these coaches are just in it for all of the wrong reasons, but
Wrong
at the end of
reason.
the day, it's
Right.
about getting these girls opportunities.
And one thing I did was my son, he started playing football. So the guy was like, "Yo, can you help me coach football?" I said, "All right." So when I was coaching, I was like, and I played football, but I didn't know everything about football. So what I did was I took it upon myself to like, let me go get a book on football. And let me read about football and how to help the lineman get set and stuff like that. So I made a promise to myself, if I ever coach, I gotta make sure that I know what I'm doing. So I gotta educate myself. And even though like basketball my number one sport, I still had to educate myself about basketball.
Nah, for
So
sure.
instead of
There's
me,
always room to
yeah, instead
grow.
of me being right. So and I'm still learning. Like I still learn, I still read, I still, listen to coaches. I go to practices. I'm trying to go to Dawn Staley practice this year. I emailed her. I went to UConn before COVID. I went to UConn, met
Hmm.
Gino, and Gino he's the most like he. I don't know why people think he's mean and nasty. Like he's the most approachable person coach I have ever been around. Like he sat there and
Hmm.
talked to me for like 15, 20 minutes each coach. Like after
Hmm.
practice, before practice, anything y'all need, let me know. Y'all can come back anytime y'all want to. We had great conversations about basketball and stuff like that. He was so welcoming. Him and his staff was so welcoming. And I don't know why people get that man a bad rap because I like, and I think
It
it's
ain't that.
based
He's
off
just real.
perception. He real, yeah, exactly. And I think that's why
Yeah,
me and him
he's
relate
real.
because he real, and I'm real. Like I don't lie to none of my girls. I tell my girls the honest to God truth, and my girls have a hard time going to go play for a coach in college that don't do that. Like if you talk to any of my
Hmm.
girls, they like I don't like soft coaches. If you ain't telling me the truth,
Hmm.
if you ain't hard on me, I can't play for you. And
Yeah.
and if that's because of me, they used to that, and it gets them better. Then, but my girls will tell you, I cannot play for no soft coach at all. I can't do it. I
Hmm.
can't do it. But like you said, I just think. a lot of these coaches don't take enough time to really educate themselves on the game so they can better help out these girls going through the process, man. 'Cause it's work. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work if
No.
you want to be a youth basketball coach or anything like that. It's going to take away from your family. Like it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Like my wife support me, but sometimes she be like, "Dude," and I'm like, "All right, I got you." You know what I'm saying? She's like, "Dude, you need to be,"
Yeah.
and I got you. But she know my wife seeing the impact that I have on these kids. Like the kids, like, we have
Mm-hmm.
cookouts and stuff, and she's seeing these girls get recruited, and their parents leaving me messages like, "Man, I really appreciate." So I think she's more lenient now with it because she sees that the impact that I have on these kids and the light their lives are changing
Mm-hmm.
because of
Mm-hmm.
the time and stuff that I spent with them and things like that. So I don't
No,
want to
yeah,
keep you
that's
too
what it's
long.
about.
So, but yeah, so I don't want to keep you too long. I really appreciate you. But so as we wrap up and stuff, let's can you give advice to young athletes or entrepreneurs who's looking up to you as a role model, and how can they harness their own setbacks for major comebacks in their lives? See how I put your book in there? That was real nice.
Yeah, that was smooth. I think I'm big on planning. So I feel like you gotta always have a plan to go along with your goals. So, I'm the type of person where I have a plan A to Z. So if one thing don't work, all right, I'm following up with something different. So I think, as we spoke about it, like being educated about whatever it is you're interested in. If it's basketball, cool. If it's opening a business, cool. But along with that education, you have to seek out people who have done the things that you're trying to do. So when you do fail or when you do reach a setback, you'll know how to persevere and move on from that. So it's like, all right, this didn't work, so I can try this. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try this. I think, like I said, failing is inevitable, but the most important thing is just not making the same mistakes twice. So you have to learn from those lessons and then, figure out how to get to where you're trying to get to. But, always ask questions, do your research. And like I said, you can learn from people that are doing it good and you can learn from people that are doing it bad. Even as a coach, there are some times where, I will go to practices or I would talk to coaches and, I'm looking at the type of coach I don't want to be and I'm looking at the coach that I do want to be. So,
Mhm.
you got to figure out what works for you when it comes to trying to set yourself apart, whether it's in business or basketball. So for me, I think definitely you got to do your research, have to plan accordingly, and you have to learn from your losses. So that would be my advice.
Okay, okay, that's some good advice. Some good advice. So thank you for coming on the show, man. It was a uh I really appreciate you giving me your time and really appreciate the gems that you dropped today for our young people and our listeners. One other little thing is that I try to ask everybody. So what I start asking everybody. So top five, top five college players right now. It ain't go to they are not the ones that already went to the WNBA, but five top college players right now that you're going to be paying attention to next year.
Talking about girls,
Yes, girls.
I haven't watched enough, but I got a few favorites. So you got Dominique Davis. She's playing at Southern Miss.
Okay.
Um, you got Amari Robinson. She's at Clemson.
Okay.
Um, you said not that, not the ones everybody already know.
Right. Like I want you to give me your top five underdog players that
Yeah,
that,
all right, that's
that you
two.
think are underdog.
I like
Yeah.
Deasia Fair, but she got drafted. But I love Deasia Fair's game.
Yeah, I love the Asia, man.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, her game tough. I like Unique Drake from St. John. She's another tough guard.
Okay.
Um, who else we got? I like Kiki Jefferson. I think she got a training camp. It's a lot
Mhm.
of tough girls out here though, so that's
Yeah.
hard. But
Yeah.
respect to the ones who got the notoriety, but you know, I think the talent level is tremendous now. You know, everybody's not getting the same exposure, but when you look at them stats and you see those highlights on Synergy, you'll see that, you know, there's a lot of great players out here, you know, doing their thing. And, you know, it's great to see that, you know, women's basketball is getting the attention that's needed. I always felt like the missing link was just telling the stories. So I'm hoping that they will continue to tell the stories, because once they do that, then more people can relate. So I know we followed Caitlyn around all year, but there are other players that need to be known and sharing how they come up. You know, same thing with Paige and everybody like that. Like, you know, it's crazy that, you know, I heard a stat the other week where the most common supporter of women's basketball are males. So it's like we got to
Right.
continue to tell the story so that women start to support women and understand that, you know, yeah, we play sports, but you know, the things we've been through is just as similar as the things you've been through in the professional world. Like we got to create that relatability so that more people will be interested in tuning in, because like, oh, I know Tiny, she from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. Oh, I know Tiny, she grew up at the St. John's Rec. I grew up at that rec. So I want to support her. So I think we got to continue to share the stories just to create that, you know, that relatability to where people will want to be invested in support just because of them being able to see themselves in the players. Like we all know LeBron's story. We know Allen Iverson's story. We know Kobe's story. So we're able to relate. But if we share the same stories on the women's side, then you know that can lead to more, you know, deals and you know support
And everybody you just named are all they are all big supporters of women basketball. All of them are big
for
supporters
sure.
of women basketball, and and this is another reason why I'm doing this show, and I have as many females on here so they can tell their story
Right.
about their playing basketball now and before, and help girls along the way that feel as though that they are underdogs and they're not, they're doing all the hard work but not really getting, the notoriety that they need. Um, and like I told one girl today that I interviewed, I was like, sometimes being an underdog is the best thing in the world. Like you just show everybody once you get on that court, you let your play talk for you, and stuff like that. And you have a good support system behind you. But you let all that play that you're doing, all that hard work you're doing, you let all that shine on that court. Um, and
Yeah.
and
Gotta
if
stay
you're good,
ready.
they're gonna find you.
Ready.
Right. You just gotta
For
stay
sure.
ready. If you're good, they're gonna find you. Yeah. So, um, again, it's been an absolute pleasure for having you on the show. Your journey is a testament of power and determination and your spirit for never giving up. So thank you for sharing your story with us today. So let everybody know where they can reach you, um, where they can follow you at, things you got coming up, and things like that.
Okay. Well, once again, I definitely appreciate you having me. You can follow me on Instagram, Coach underscore TA9. It's the same thing on Twitter, but the O is the number 0. And for the nonprofit is Leader Breeders. That's on both Twitter and Instagram. We actually have a women's basketball roundtable talk coming up this Saturday.
Okay.
So definitely the flyer. If none of your girls are competing this weekend, I know some of them probably are. Definitely have them come
Mhm.
out. The idea is, you know, I have a bunch of panelists that are current pros, former college players. Some don't even play basketball anymore, but we're just trying to share the things that we've been through to kind of give them the things we wish we knew when we were their ages. So it's
Okay.
open to middle school girls all the way up into college. It's going to be 12 to 4 at the Reader Church Community Center this Saturday. So
Mhm.
I'll send you that flyer. If you can come with
Okay.
some of your girls, that'll definitely be appreciated. It's a free event. And we're just
Yeah.
trying to give out those gems, you know, we wish we knew when we were their age.
Well, I give it to my college girls because me and my middle school we got a tournament this weekend, so we being spooky enough this
Okay.
weekend. But I give it to my
Okay.
college girls, so they can come through.
Yeah, definitely want the
Yeah,
college girls for sure.
yeah, I give it to them so they can come through. They ain't doing nothing this weekend, so I had them. There's some of them coming home this weekend also from school,
Okay.
so
So yeah,
I
that'll be
give it.
great.
I'll be like this. yeah, y'all can go do that together. Because when they come home, we all get together. We can go out to eat and talk and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And that'll be something um they can get together and do. And if you need any, my girls are they like to volunteer and help out. So if you need anybody to help you volunteer out within your camps and stuff like that, just let me know
Hmm.
and I'll get them to come out and volunteer.
Okay,
And stuff.
but I definitely tap in with you. We got a couple of events and stuff coming up that we can definitely use some volunteers, and that'll definitely be dope.
Yeah, and even our high school girls because they need to get their what you call
Yeah, I
yeah,
always
their
bet.
hours for what's some name stuff. Yeah, we connect with all that, man. I like helping the youth out, man. We got to do better. Um, but again, I really appreciate you coming on and talking about your story, man. Wish you the best. Um, oh, another thing, one more thing. Where can people find your book?
Um, I don't know if it's still on Amazon, but if you go to tinyadams.com, you'll be able to get it.
Okay, all right,
Or they can
great.
just reach out to me directly and I can sign it and send it to them. But tinyadams.com, you should be able to get it.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thanks, Tiny. Now to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Remember, every underdog has their day. Um, has their day, and today we were privileged to have a hear from a true champion, both on and off the court. Don't forget to follow us and subscribe to Full Court Dreams, the Underdog's Voice on Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Coach Q for more inspiring stories. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep fighting. Thanks.